dude. Wild Go off, loser. I came from Matt Green, you piece of shit. Go home, you're drunk.
You're not even my real dad. Really? I just spilled the entire fucking drink combination I had! God damn it! The whole fucking alcohol that I had for this drink combination is wasted because I had to move my cane and my Cobra cane had to smack the drink off my desk. Ah!
This is Joshua Faye Saunders, better known online as King Cobra JFS. He made his grand entrance into this world on March 26, 1991 in Casper, Wyoming, right in the Wyoming Medical Center. From day one, life threw him challenges. Josh arrived with underdeveloped lungs and spent his newborn days in an incubator while his parents, Clint and Laura, were barely out of their teens themselves, 20 and 21 to be exact. According to Josh's version of events, his mom chose formula over breastfeeding. It was a big whoop for some, but in his telling, it caused all kinds of problems, including an alarming episode of rectal bleeding. If that wasn't enough drama, Clint and Laura's marriage fell apart around 1992 or 93, leading to a big custody battle, with his father winning the case. Amid all the chaos, Josh discovered something that became a major lifelong obsession. He has an undying love for snakes, or cobras to be exact. His fascination began when he played an old-school 1990s computer game called Buzzy the Knowledge Bug, specifically the jungle-themed version. Who knew an educational game could inspire someone to become the self-styled King Cobra? Looking at Josh's story, you can't help but notice a lot of early trouble. Maybe if life had been a little gentler, things would have turned out differently. This struggle was what birthed him into the Lolcow world, and we're going to take a look at how he made himself relevant and destroyed himself in the process. At 19 years old, Josh launched his first YouTube channel on June 13, 2010, using the handle Gothic King Cobra 52. He explained his choice by breaking it down into 3 parts: Gothic for his goth identity, King Cobra for his favorite snake, and 52 as a nod to the 1952 Ford pickup. Here is his first ever video posted on YouTube in 2010.
Hello, this is Gothic King Cobra 52. We shall be doing a series on YouTube called Guitar Insight, where I play my electric guitar and incite my opinions on some random shit and topics. And as a precaution, if you're easily offended by coarse language or intellectual smartass cheeky comments, I wouldn't recommend you watch it. If you're offended by a dark sense of humor, I wouldn't recommend you watch it, because I'm not going to bullshit your sugarcoat lives issues. I'm going to speak whatever on my mind. So, this is my guitar I'll be playing with. PC Rich Skullrock X with a cool guitar strap. Being as I am goth, I will often talk about goth and emo and the whole social BS that goes along with people assuming they're the same when they're not. I'll rant a lot on stupid random shit that just pisses me off, because what the f, you know, it's my computer. Just say whatever's on my mind.
At this point, Josh was a bit different from the guy we're familiar with today. He looked like your average teenager, nothing too wild or out of place. He spoke quickly, almost like he was rushing to get all his thoughts out at once, and he seemed a little more put together than what we might expect now. In his first YouTube video, Josh laid out what viewers could expect from his videos. He talked about the kinds of things he would feature and cover, making it clear that he'd be giving his take on everything. He promised his viewers they would always get his honest opinion, the most straightforward and real version of himself he could give.
Guitar Insight episode 6. My last video I made fun of the Jonas Brothers, but I heard one of them just got married recently, and I thought, oh great, another ring they have that the guy says he's not gonna have sex.
Oldest videos on his channel, Josh had this fun habit of ending each one by playing a song on his guitar for his followers. It became a bit of a signature move, and he leaned into his promise of being open and honest with his fans about his thoughts on all kinds of current events and popular happenings. But there was one thing that stood out as pretty strange. Josh made some odd comments about the Jonas Brothers, claiming they were gay and seeing it as unreasonable for any of them to get married to a woman. This didn't add up, though, because there's no actual evidence to back up Josh's theory. The Jonas Brothers themselves never publicly said they were anything other than straight, so it seems like Josh was just repeating some wild conspiracy theories he'd stumbled across online.
Also kind of surprised when I think it was NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, I can't remember which one of those gay bands it was, but one of the members was gay. I thought the rest of a whole lot of them were. I was like, oh, that's a big surprise. I wonder if the word fag is like a gay word, like nigger is a black person's word. Like, you go up to a gay person and say, what up, fag? And they're like, you can't say that, it's our word, okay? And then, I don't know if that works out like it or not. But can you imagine like if someone went to a gay African American and said, what up, nigger? And like, oh, you can't say those words, those are our words, we're gay and we're black, you can't say those words. That's terrible, but just, no, I'm not racist towards black people, I'm not going to be, it's just a stupid thing to do.
Josh went on to some pretty controversial territory, discussing topics that many people find offensive. Trying to make a point, he used the N-word, saying it was part of the argument he was trying to make. He claimed that gay people would be offended if called a derogatory term like fat ass, just like the black community would be hurt by use of the N-word. While he thought he was making a valid comparison, it didn't sit well with a lot of his viewers, who quickly pointed out that his choice of words was crossing a line and came off as racist. In response, Josh tried to defend himself, insisting that he wasn't racist and didn't have any ill feelings toward black people. While Josh was at it, making a lot of controversial comments, he got a Charlie McCarthy puppet as a gift from his parents. He would eventually name this puppet Sean and would feature it in many of his videos.
But I'll get my dummy out and show you guys my bit here. His name is Sean. He's a string pull dummy. I could take this guy to a website and have him upgrade to a standard upgrade where his head and moves the stick and whatnot, but until then, I'm pulling the string in your neck. Fuck you, asshole. Now what I did is I had an old Charlie McCarthy doll. He used to be Charlie McCarthy, but his monocle kept falling out because it was tied to his neck string, and his hat got bent and dented, so I said, screw this. What I did is I painted black around his eyes, and then I gave him dark green eyes. That looks creepy. Yeah.
But this gift didn't make Josh any less hostile to his father. While on a Christmas holiday at his aunt's place, Josh claimed that he got into a fistfight with his father.
Went to go see my aunt and uncle and their kids. My uncle is going through kidney dialysis for a failing kidney, and my aunt just got done having a hysterectomy, and so they were very sick, but just nonetheless happy to see us. And just as before, my dad gave up on trying to stop me from smoking cigarettes. Oh, speaking of cigarettes. Now, the first time I went outside, I was trying to go outside. They knew I was going out for a cigarette. They didn't try to stop me. Didn't say shit about it, you know. The second time, they're like, where you going, Josh? I'm like, going to pet the dogs. I'm like, I said, I was really going for a cigarette. Now, my dad comes outside, sees me smoking, starts lecturing me, who's the fucking blah, 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 blah. And he says, and I quote, give me the cigarettes. I'm like, no. He's like, give me the fucking cigarettes. I'm like, no, fuck off. He's like, give me, oh boy, you know. So we both start going at it. So I'm like, here, take the, I had like 2 cigarettes left, and the lighter was in it. So he took my cigarettes and my lighter, and I was, yeah, I can imagine I was beyond pissed, right? And I fucking punched him. He's like, and then he punched me. Next thing you know, they're going fighting and kicking and shit. And my mom comes like, what the hell's going on? I caught him out here smoking. Shit like that. And he walks inside, pissed as all hell. My mom's like, what the hell are you thinking? You fighting with your father on Christmas? On top of that, your aunt and uncle going through so much, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't, you know, and I felt kind of like a dick for doing that, you know, but at the same time, you don't fuck with me and my cigarettes. That's just not something you don't want to do.
Josh once shared that the reason he and his family decided to spend Christmas at his aunt's house was because she was sick, and they thought it would be nice to spend some time with her and her family. Josh's dad didn't approve of his smoking habits, especially when it came to smoking at his aunt's place. Despite this, Josh wasn't ready to let go of his habit. He told his dad he was heading out to get the dog, but instead he snuck off to smoke. Of course, his dad caught him in the act, and what followed was an intense argument that quickly escalated into a physical fight, with punches thrown on both sides. Looking back, Josh admitted that his actions were out of line. He recognized that he was in the wrong for instigating the fight, especially in such a tense moment. But with such stories being shared online by Josh, it's easy to gain haters, and in no time, trolling began. So Josh decided to address the trolls.
Now, I've been getting a lot of trolls on my channel lately, and all the trolls I've seen thus far on my channel have bashed me, my tattoo, and my guitar playing, awesome singing, etc., etc. And it's kind of sad, actually. Really, it is. Because about 98.9% of the people who troll my channel and say shit like that are just jealous. And I go to their channel, and they don't have any of them videos of them playing guitar. That's just random hate comments. I'm not giving you guys the attention you want. So if you're going to troll my channel, just leave a negative comment. I'm going to delete it and just ignore it because you're not worth my time. And then you go off and say that you'll never be a famous musician. Well, I will be, and when I do, I'll laugh at f***ers like you said I couldn't make it. So, if you don't like my videos, then don't fucking watch them. That's the beauty of YouTube. Otherwise, you're just being a troll and you suck. Take off the ring. Fuck trolls.
The whole situation was triggered by a troll making a funny comment about Josh's tattoo, claiming it looked like a penis. Of course, that kind of comment got under Josh's skin. While he tried to keep his cool and respond calmly, it was clear he was pretty annoyed by the whole thing. He went on to say that trolls like this weren't worth his time, or that he wouldn't hesitate to delete any comment that seemed to carry a negative vibe or ill intent. It was his way of trying to brush it off and set some boundaries, but it was obvious the comment still bothered him more than he wanted to admit.
And for all you haters out there, I'm not gonna stop. Your comments are not gonna stop me from doing what I love to do, and that's music. So, also, I gotta finish filling out applications for a Job Corps, going to Job Corps in Utah, and possibly to, get a degree in auto body, because I love working on cars, I love working with the body of cars. It's always really fun for me. Now, whether they teach you how to work on an engine or not, I'm not sure, but that'd be nice to know too, because I have a 52 Ford pickup with an F-150 with an 84 Ford Windsor 351 dual exhaust. It sounds nice.
After dealing with the trolls in his video, Josh took a moment to shift gears and share some personal news with his viewers. He announced that he was going to join a program called Job Corps, which helps young people gain vocational skills. Josh revealed that he chose auto repair as his focus because he's always had a fascination with cars and would love to work on them. It seemed like a solid choice for him, something that could provide both skills and passion, and maybe even a sense of direction for his future. But Josh wasn't only dealing with trolls that are on his channel, he also became one towards the mainstream media.
Now, the problem with the mainstream, that's the problem with the mainstream, is that you cannot literally create your own trend and do something different because the mainstream will catch on to it and make it trendy. You can't be different or rebellious anymore because it's now trendy, because whatever you do becomes popular to a trendy crowd and they follow it, and it makes you look like a conformist asshole when you're not, when you're the one who started the trend to begin with.
Josh once shared his thoughts on the struggles small YouTube channels face, like his own. He said that one of the biggest pieces of advice given to creators starting out is to find something unique, something that sets them apart from everyone else. The idea is if they do something original, they'll eventually attract viewers who appreciate that new style. However, Josh pointed out a major issue with this advice. When small channels start creating something fresh and exciting, the big mainstream media often catches on and takes it for themselves, turning it into something watered down or commercialized. He went further to state that the unique trend will become so saturated to a point where the small account that started it will not get credit for the innovation, and it'll be completely dominated by the bigger platforms. As Josh's following grew, it seemed like so did his ego. He started to get a bit more comfortable in the spotlight, and eventually, this confidence, some might say arrogance, led him to a pretty wild idea like starting his own religion. Everyone was probably asking, where did he get this idea from? It's not every day that someone with a growing online following decides to create their own faith. Maybe he thought it would give him a sense of control, or perhaps he just enjoyed the idea of being a leader of something bigger than himself.
Now, back when I was in junior high, I made the symbol. The mythical creatures it represents: cobra demons and cobra angels. Cobra demons are like wizards. It's the male form of these mythical creatures, and angels are the female version. There was good and bad cobra demons and good and bad cobra angels. Okay? Now, me and my friend, I started this little gang with my friends. We practiced magic, we hung out, we smoked, we, all kinds of, and we were the cobra demons. If we ever got any girlfriends, we'd be our cobra angels, I had my own religion. I still believe in it somewhat. My own god, goddess, and their son.
Josh explained that the ideas behind his new religion had been with him since junior high, claiming it was something he'd been thinking about and developing for years. He created his own set of symbols, representing two opposing forces in reality, the male demon and the female angel. These ideas, he said, stemmed from his teenage years when he and his friends worked on metaphysics and magic. It seems like those early experiences had a lasting impact on him, and now he believes he's ready to take the next step. He felt prepared to lead a group of devoted followers in his new religion, thinking that he could now share his beliefs with others in a way that felt right.
Cobra-chan and his wife Cobricius and their son Cobero, this is something I believed in, still do kind of. And I prayed to them, and we meditated as well. We practiced having powers and stuff. Did it actually work? I believe so, yes. The power of the mind is a very powerful thing. And we practiced moving the wind, all kinds of stuff. That's why I got into wand making, because I believe in that kind of stuff. Witchcraft and all that, Wicca and all that.
Josh was eager to sell his new religion to anyone who would listen, pitching it as a way to unlock deeper mysteries and practices. He talked a lot about he and his friends had explored various aspects of magic, claiming that they'd even made their own magic wands. According to Josh, these wands worked wonders for them, and he made it clear that the practice of magic was an essential part of his belief system.
And if you want to call me crazy, go ahead. You know, it's not crazy in what the fuck these Christians and Catholics believe, so.
As Josh continued promoting his new religion, not everyone was on board. Some viewers questioned his beliefs and even called him crazy, which undeniably frustrated him. In response, Josh lashed out, claiming that what he believed wasn't all that different from what Christians or Catholics believe. He tried to make the point that every religion has its own set of practices and beliefs that might seem strange to outsiders, so why should his be any different? Now, do you think Josh has a point? In a way, yes, he's right that all religions, whether it's Protestant or Catholic or any other belief system, have their own unique practices and beliefs that can seem odd or unexplainable to people from the outside. But here's where Josh's argument falls apart. He's comparing his personal creation of a religion with centuries of tradition, doctrine, and established beliefs that have been followed by millions of people for generations.
Here you go. Something to accessorize it with. So I am a full-fledged cobra demon. You know, my parents, of course, tolerated it, went along with it, but as I got older and more obsessed with it, they threatened to send me to a shrink or a psychiatrist or some shit like that. Like, do you need help? This isn't real. You're not cobra, blah, 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 blah. My dad sat there and, talk me out of it and say, you don't have cobra powers, blah, 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 I understand his concern, but at the same time, I think I have the right to have my own free religious beliefs. It's part of being in the United States of America. If it's not hurting me or anyone else, then I don't see the problem with it.
Josh didn't just face backlash from some of his viewers. His own parents had always been against his religious ideas, especially his father. From a young age, Josh's dad was adamant that Josh didn't have any special powers and would constantly challenge his beliefs. As Josh's ideas about magic and his new religion grew more intense, his father became more vocal, even going so far as to threaten to send him to a mental institution if he didn't stop. His father had more of a harsh reaction, probably out of genuine worry for his son's mental well-being. For Josh, though, it must have felt like a personal attack. After all, the things he believed in were a big part of his identity, and when your family doesn't understand or support it, it can be frustrating. Josh had lived with so many frustrations in his life, and one of the most memorable ones was while he was in high school. Josh can definitely have moments of clarity online, like when he makes solid points about the struggles of small YouTube channels and the way mainstream media hijacks trends. But then, there are times when you just can't help but wonder why he feels the need to share certain things. One example of this is when he publicly apologized for stalking someone in the past. It's one of those moments where you're left scratching your head asking, why bring this up?
Things I regret, and one of which was in junior high and early high school. I had a crush on this very beautiful girl, and I went about expressing my love the entirely wrong way, stalking, sexual harassment, and I regret it sincerely.
Josh explained that this girl had once been his crush, and he admitted to being a creep who couldn't take his eyes off her. He went on to say that in his mind, stalking was his way of dealing with it. While stalking alone is already problematic, it became worse when he mentioned sexual harassment. Josh made a huge misstep by bringing this up in a public video. Even if he's now apologetic for his actions, some things are better left unsaid, especially when they can be used against you later. By publicly admitting to something so serious, he's created a potential liability for himself in the future. It doesn't matter that he's claiming to have changed. Those words could be used as evidence to point to a pattern of behavior, and it's dangerous to have that kind of information out there, no matter how much time has passed.
I feel like we're back off for doing it, and I finally left her alone completely, and whether it paid off or not, I don't know. Well, a year later, I found her on Facebook and tried contacting her, and I chickened out and canceled the friend request, because, I figured, maybe not enough time has passed. I get a message from her saying hi. I'm like, what the? I just deleted thinking, whatever. When I go to her Facebook page, it said add as friend, so I click on that thinking maybe it didn't go through correctly. And then I got blocked from her Facebook page.
Even though Josh claimed he had stopped physically stalking this lady in the past, it seemed like his behavior shifted to online stalking. Recently, he found her page again and tried to contact her. From there, things got a little weird. He was all over her Facebook page, even sending a message to her before deleting it. It looks like he was still struggling with some confidence issues, but his actions, especially considering his history of stalking and harassment, don't reflect well on him. Unfortunately for Josh, his Facebook account was blocked before she could accept his friend request. Now, one thing people might wonder is why his account got blocked in the first place. Facebook doesn't just block accounts for no reason. Questions can be asked about what kind of behavior Josh was engaging in. Maybe he was spamming. Maybe he was engaging in inappropriate actions on others' accounts, like monitoring and stalking his old crush's profile. Whatever it was, it only added to the red flags about his online behavior.
And the guilt was eating at me. It was literally making me feel like shit. Like, okay, what the fuck, So just recently, I created another Facebook account with my name that I'm not going to use, just to send her a message to say, hey, I'm sorry, with a very sincere apology. And I'm hoping this guilt can get off my conscience, because quite frankly, I feel like shit for what I did to her. I really do. Putting her through that, I feel like a real ass for doing it.
Frustrated with not being able to get through to her, Josh took things a step further. He claimed that guilt was eating him up, but honestly, it felt more like an excuse for his urge to reach out to her again. Josh created a new Facebook account and messaged her once more. He apologized for his past actions, admitting that he had made mistakes. Interestingly, he is still doing the same thing now, just in a different way, using the online platform. He said he was trying to clear his conscience, but it seemed like there was more to it. I get the sense that he might have felt relieved just by sending the message, hoping she'd somehow sympathize with his honesty, and maybe, just maybe, something good like a friendship would come from it.
And whether or not she forgives me, I don't know. I really don't care. I'm just letting her know that, I'm sorry, But girls are so f***ing complicated, what the fuck are they gonna do next? So, and I feel like a real ass for doing it. And she wasn't the only girl I stalked and actually harassed. I regret each and every one of them, That certainly didn't help my case, being as I do dress the way I do, and, she's probably a bit creeped out. So I don't blame her for feeling the way she did. Perfectly understandable, considering, I was this creepy goth kid with Asperger's stalking this amazingly hot chick, But yeah, I wish I could change it. I wish I could go back and wish I never would have fallen in love with her, I wish I really could just turn back the clock and say, dude, don't waste your time if she's not into you, but I can't, obviously. So the best I can do is hope for forgiveness and just move on with my life, because quite honestly, there's shit in life we can't change.
Josh went on to say that he didn't really care whether she forgave him or not, as long as he got it off his chest and cleared his conscience. But deep down, it was clear it wasn't really fine. His words sounded more like he was trying to convince himself. After that, he launched into a rant about how complicated women are. It's pretty likely that the lady didn't reply to his message or accept his friend request because, well, she probably knows better than to get involved with someone who has stalked her in the past. But that didn't sit well with Josh, who responded negatively to the idea that women have to be so complicated. He then went on to say something that showed his true feelings. He wished he could go back in time and fall in love with her the right way. This shift in tone made it clear that Josh wasn't contacting her out of guilt. Instead, he was holding on to this hope that maybe he could have a second chance with her. It was less about making amends and more about rekindling the possibility of a relationship.
So I'm a little nervous right now if, she'll respond to it or not. But I basically said, hey, it's Josh, I just want to say I'm sorry for the shit I did in high school. I was a creep. You don't have to be my friend or anything. I'm just letting you know how sorry I am, because the guilt eats away at my conscience every day, and hopefully you understand, shit like that. And then said, I hope you're having a great life. Cheers, Josh Saunders. And I left it at that. Just something like that, you know?
When the woman didn't respond to Josh's message, he kept holding on to the hope that eventually she might reply. Some of his viewers asked what exactly he had said to her, and Josh, in a moment of what seemed like oversharing, tried to read the message aloud to them. This move didn't make much sense, considering that even if she were interested in replying, the fact that Josh is an online figure, regardless of how big or small his following was at the time, could make her uncomfortable. No one wants to be the subject of an online discussion, especially if it's about something so personal. Just imagine if she saw Josh making a video like this, talking about her publicly. It would probably push her even further away. Josh seemed oblivious to how creepy his behavior was by bringing this situation into the public eye. Even though he admitted to being creepy back in high school, he doesn't fully grasp how much more invasive it looks when you're an online personality. Josh's inability to understand the effects of his actions online pushed him to do some stupid stunts on camera when his parents traveled and left him home alone.
Now, great risk of getting my ass kicked mentally and by my dad and my mom chewing me out and smoking in my house. I don't give a shit right now. But I've taken all precautions. Both windows in my bathroom and room here are opened, and towels underneath all the doors and shit. So, yeah, and I'm watching the house without being paid, so fuck them. This is indeed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity I thought I'd take to smoke in my own house when I'm not supposed to. You know, it's not like they kicked me out while I'm getting a job at Walmart, moving out and getting my own place, or I'm going to job either way I'm getting out of the house. So, this will be the last tobacco I smoke in this house at all. I've done it before, but not on YouTube. For a while, I didn't get caught until I got caught by my mom, who said, if you do it again, I'm telling your dad. And my dad, you know, gets pretty pissed off pretty easily, and this just set him off, you know. Oh well, who cares?
Josh's father had always been very clear about his dislike for smoking, especially when it came to smoking inside the house. For him, it was a major no-go. But when Josh found himself home alone and feeling like the time was right, he decided to light up and smoke in front of his viewers, even though he knew some of them were underage kids who might be watching him. He justified it, saying he'd taken all the precautions and thought it was the perfect opportunity to do it in the privacy of his own space. When you have younger viewers looking up to you, smoking on camera isn't the best example to set. Kids are impressionable, and they might see his actions as a way to feel cool or rebellious. In fact, it's an irresponsible way to influence a young audience.
You know, I'm trying to unwind. You know, my damn dog ran away after I let him out to play with him and Chance so they get exercise. Like, I was told, my mom told me straight up, she's like, you know, Opie and Chance out so you have room to exercise. And that's what I did. She told me to, and it's the second time he's escaped. He does this all the time, of course, but I'm kind of pissed off, you know. I called my dad, told him about this. He's like, you know what? Don't do what mom said. Just put him in the fucking pen. Don't need to, you know, run around the yard and shit. I'm like, all right. And my dad goes, I'll back you up on this when mom arrests you. I'm like, all right.
While Josh was smoking and ranting about all sorts of things, he casually mentioned that his dog had run away after being let outside. But let's be real, dogs are usually loyal, friendly companions. They form strong attachments to their families and owners. It's not typical for a dog to suddenly decide to run away at the drop of a hat, especially if everything at home is normal and they feel safe. This makes you wonder about the condition of the poor dog. Could it have been going through something difficult? Whether it's a lack of attention, care, or perhaps a more serious issue at home? It's possible that the dog's desire to escape wasn't just a random act, but a sign that something wasn't right. It makes you think about how animals, even though they can't speak, often show us their discomfort or distress in subtle ways. If the dog felt the need to run away, it could have been trying to find some sort of relief from whatever stress or unhappiness it might have been experiencing.
You know, I'm watching the house for a week, home alone, you know, so why the fuck not, you know? I'm 20 years old and not paying me to do it, so, yeah. Smoking makes your dick smaller. Please. My dick's pretty big. 6 inches fully extended, 2 inches wide. Starts off at 4 inches. It may be average, I really don't know or care, but it's not the size of your dick that counts, it's really if you know how to use it.
Josh often claimed that he was watching the house for his parents while they were away, acting like he was doing them a huge favor. He even went so far as to say that he wasn't getting paid for it, almost as if he was the one putting in the work. But let's be honest, he should have been the one paying for staying in a free house. Instead of recognizing the situation as a responsibility, he framed it like it was some sort of personal sacrifice on his part. He also argued that since he was doing this favor for his parents, he should at least be allowed to smoke inside the house, treating it as an entitlement rather than just respecting the rules. Of course, when a commenter decided to poke fun at Josh by saying smoking would make his penis smaller, Josh just smirked and dismissed it, saying that nothing like that was happening. This sort of behavior was what led to one of Josh's first disappointments online. He was always showing off his penis on his YouTube videos, and his account was eventually temporarily suspended. In an attempt to infiltrate his trolls who were happy that his account had been suspended, Josh created a new YouTube channel called Peach Monster 666.
Greetings, YouTube. I am Peach Monster 666, and I welcome you to my channel of doom. I am going to troll and destroy you all, and any of you fuckers who respond to me are just hypocrites, cause you're trolling too. Sniff that, you cock-sucking fuckers, and remember, the Peach Monster 666 has spoken. You will never guess my identity. Yes, I am the king of all trolls. You will never stop me. Yes, indeed. You will never, ever stop me. Never, ever. In conclusion, go to hell and suck a dick. Later, dick lickers.
Josh's first video was meant to be an introduction to his viewers, a way for him to draw people in and encourage them to engage with him. He likely hoped that he could build connections. Unfortunately, his video didn't get as much attention as he'd hoped. Instead of gaining the following he wanted, the response was a bit slow. After some time, Josh returned with a new approach. This time, he made a video where he trolled himself.
Greetings, YouTube. Peach Monster 666 is back from beyond the grave, here to troll you, Gothic King Cobra. Your videos are so pathetic. You think you can play guitar. The truth is you suck. Yes, I've been gone for a year, in the battles of hell, consuming souls. This guy is a faggot. Ah, yes.
It actually turned out to be a pretty brilliant move on Josh's part. By trolling himself in that video, he managed to attract the attention of his haters, who jumped at the chance to engage with the new nemesis of Gothic King. After his YouTube account got suspended, Josh came back with a fresh mindset, claiming that he was now going to be more careful about what he shared with his followers, aiming to avoid posting any explicit content. It seemed like a moment of growth for him, a way to shift and focus on more positive, less controversial content. During the suspension, Josh said he met a new girlfriend named Laura, and even went as far as to write a song about her for his upcoming album. But as often happens in Josh's world, things didn't stay smooth for long.
And look how long my hair has gotten in my 2-week ban. It's getting long and I'm loving it. Now, I was gone for 2 weeks because of flashing my penis, so there'll be no more of that on my YouTube channel because I want to lose my YouTube channel. So I moved to my Restless Troll Trolls in my channel video because I showed my penis, and 1, because 2, it was cold in my room, so it was like this fucking small, but when it's not cold, I'm like this, so I have a beach dick. Yeah. And, so I decided to, walk around on my Facebook while on my 2-week ban, making videos to satisfy my addiction to YouTube. And while on Facebook, I had a girlfriend. And I about shit my pants when I saw how fucking hot she was. I'm like, oh my god, my luck, my first girlfriend just that hot. It turns out she did not tell me she was 14, and just a humongous mess and bullshit story, so I broke up with her, So I had a girlfriend for a good couple of days, and we talked and flirted a little bit on Facebook and whatnot, but then I get a call from Dr. Phil this morning, at least I think it was, I'm not sure. And that didn't work out so good. I'm like, fuck this shit, dude, I'm not putting up with her shit, so I broke up with her, because I am not going to deal with that shit. I'm not going to be one of those sick perverts that dates a 14-year-old, I'm not like that.
It turns out that the hot new girlfriend Josh was into, Laura, was actually a 14-year-old girl. When he first saw her picture, it didn't occur to him how young she was. Despite the age difference, Josh started dating her during the time he was suspended from YouTube. But once he discovered her real age, things took a quick turn. Feeling uncomfortable with the age gap, Josh immediately broke up with her, possibly feeling that the relationship wasn't appropriate anymore. With this relationship out the window from the start, he started another relationship with a Facebook girlfriend.
Anyway, I have a girlfriend on Facebook. She's hot. Her name? Go to my Facebook here. Alyssa Hafa. Love you, baby. Oh yeah. Right there. That's fucking hot. Delicious. That's pretty hot, dude. I must say that's really hot. Thanks, baby. Love you.
It seems like Josh became really attracted to this new Facebook girlfriend, and in this video, he even showed off a picture she had sent him of her cleavage. This is definitely a wrong move on his part, especially when it comes to respecting privacy. If Josh didn't get her consent before sharing that photo, it's a violation of trust, and it makes you wonder what his reasons were for doing so.
This will be one of my knowledge videos, okay? You shouldn't cheat on a woman. No, fuck that, dude. I'm going to Job Corps, and hypothetical, if this were to happen to me, I'd be the bigger man, make the right decision, you know? I wouldn't cheat on my girlfriend on Facebook. Fuck that, dude. Or, you know, if this girlfriend of mine that I'm in Job Corps, this hasn't happened yet, but if it did, you know, and she connected with me deeper, and, you know, I would break it off with my girlfriend on Facebook. I will. I'm not saying this hasn't happened. This might not happen, but if it does happen, I'm fully prepared to take responsibility and be the bigger man, because I don't want to break her heart like that, you know? It's going to suck for her, and it's going to suck for me, because we've had this great connection on Facebook and shit. But I'd hate for it to be like that when she comes to visit me in Job Corps, and this other girl finds my other girlfriend on Facebook, and just, you know, I don't want to deal with that kind of drama. So this hasn't happened yet, but if it does happen, you know, I'm man enough to make the right decision and not cheat. You know what I'm saying?
Josh went on about how amazing he was at relationships, boasting that he would never dream of breaking his Facebook girlfriend's heart. His reasoning seemed to be that if he ever found someone better than her, he would rather break up with her than cheat on her. On the surface, that might sound like a somewhat honorable stance, but when you look closely, it seems like he's just settling for what he can get right now while keeping an eye out for something better down the line. This mindset is wrong because it's not about valuing the person he's with. It's more about treating the relationship as something temporary and disposable. The idea that breaking up with someone is somehow more merciful than cheating on them is irrational. Both actions are hurtful, and neither is a good way to handle a relationship. But not long after this one, Josh made a shocking video.
Now, I got a text from my girlfriend on Facebook saying, hey, I said, hey, so we need to talk. I said, what about what? She goes, need to break up. I'm like, okay. Then she tells me how she's been banging her ex, is a quote from her text. And she wants to get back together with him and all this shit. I'm like, alright. She's like, could we still be friends? I said, yeah, sure, you know, well, thank you. She's next time I'll fall for a girl.
It seems like Josh's Facebook girlfriend, likely aware of his previous videos and the way he speaks about relationships, came to him with a revelation that showed just how little regard or respect she had for him. Rather than Josh catching her in the act, she outright told him that she had cheated on her ex. To make things even more awkward, she suggested that they could still be friends, and Josh, for some reason, agreed to it. Now, it's possible that she heard Josh's comments about being on the lookout for a better option and how he would break up with her when he found someone new. If she did, maybe she felt that Josh wasn't truly committed to the relationship in the first place. It's almost like a form of emotional self-preservation. Perhaps instead of waiting for Josh to eventually break things off, she decided to take matters into her own hands and did exactly what he hinted at. So she went out and cheated, maybe in an attempt to get the power back in her hands.
Get my phone out and read you all this. Now, I can respect you for coming up front with me and saying this, you know, and not just leading me on for a fucking year, you know what I'm saying? I can appreciate you for that, but at the same time, I think, wow, I feel like a tool for falling for this stupid shit again, you know? I'm so done with love, I am tired of getting my heart ripped out every fucking time. You know, the one time I get a girlfriend, I think, oh, sweet, and then she turns out to be 14. Fuck that, I break up with a second girlfriend, I think, oh, sweet, I got another girlfriend, alright, and then she's cheating on me. Pisses me off beyond belief, it really does.
Even though Josh tried to play it cool about the breakup, it's pretty clear that he was likely devastated by it. Deep down, he probably struggled with the reality of the situation and might have even cried over the breakup text. No matter how hard he tried to seem on the outside, It's hard not to feel the sting when a relationship falls apart. Interestingly, Josh did admit that he appreciated the fact that she came forward and told him the truth, rather than just leading him on. This, ironically, is what Josh said earlier that he would do to her if he ever found someone better. She was honest with him, just like he had promised he would be. As if relationship troubles weren't enough, Josh's dad had his own set of frustrations with his son's behavior. He was fed up with Josh's lack of motivation and laziness, so he decided to send him to Job Corps, hoping it would teach him some valuable skills and set him on a path to secure a steady job.
So yeah, it's been a little dramatic coming home from Job Corps, but it's gotten better now. My dad has made us a huge effort to fix our relationship because it's been stressful. I'm sorry.
However, after a few weeks, things didn't go as planned. Josh was eventually thrown out of the Job Corps, leaving him without the skills and opportunity he was meant to gain. This led to more tension between him and his father, who then took it to the next level by threatening to cut Josh's hair if he didn't find a job immediately. His dad's frustration was understandable. Josh was in his 20s, and his dad wanted him to step up, be active, and take responsibility for his life. Eventually, Josh managed to get a job at Wendy's as a lobby attendant. This new responsibility meant that he didn't have as much free time as he did before when he had nothing else on his plate. But even with the added job pressure, Josh still found time to make videos and update his audience when he could. During this time, he reconnects with one of his high school friends, Chris.
So I got a couple of things to share with you. One of which is, in the recent 4 months, I've had 3 suicide attempts. One was at Job Corps. I tried strangling myself with a broken guitar string and it slipped around my neck. My second suicide attempt, me and my friend Chris were broke down in his old van. We given a guy a ride to Buffalo, and his van broke down 30 miles outside of Buffalo, and the next day I had to be in Casper to get my paycheck and go to work, and I felt like I wasn't gonna make it, and life felt pretty hopeless. So I stood out in the middle of the fucking highway and came this close to getting hit by a semi. I stepped away just in time. And then a couple days ago, I tried strangling myself with the amp cord for my guitars, and 10 minutes didn't do shit. Of course, the next day at Wendy's, before work, I listened to 3 Days Grace Never Too Late, and then Life is Beautiful by 6 a.m., you know, and...
In one of his videos, after a particularly stressful day at work, Josh opened up about some very dark moments in his life. He explained that he had made 3 different attempts to end his life in the recent past. It's hard to understand why he thought this was something his audience would want to hear, but he shared it all anyway. According to Josh, the first attempt happened while he was at Job Corps, and I think this might have been one of the main reasons he was thrown out of the program. The second attempt occurred when he was with his friend Chris, and their car broke down, leaving him feeling like he would miss his paycheck. The third attempt took place just a few days before the video was recorded. The fact that Josh felt comfortable enough to openly discuss these attempts in such a public space is confusing. With Josh working at Wendy's, his father began looking for an apartment for him to start his independence as a man. During this time, Josh was dating a woman named Stephanie, and their relationship has not been without its problems, but they've survived so far.
So the comments on the last video, dude, it's your 21st birthday, you should take her somewhere nice. Oh, believe me, I would if I had the money. But I don't, till Wednesday, so. You know, if I'd known ahead of time when Stephanie's gonna be here, I would have saved some money for my last paycheck. So, since it's your birthday, you have anything you want to say?
I can gamble.
Yeah, she can gamble, huh?
I got a phone call from my mom, and she asked if me and Josh had had sex yet. Yeah.
This is Stephanie. The video was filmed on her birthday, and Josh thought it would be a great idea to bring her onto his channel and celebrate with his viewers. The day was filled with fun and laughter, a memory they would both hold on to. Later, they went out and had a blast, enjoying the celebration, but little did they know, trouble was looming around the corner. The very next day after Stephanie's birthday, Josh's troll named Jack Lassen dropped a video that would hit Josh hard, a video that would haunt him for quite some time.
Got the King Cobra, guess what, bitch? 9-gag army, bitch! 9-gag army f***ing kicked your ass, bitch! Your password? 45, 65 Pop-Tarts, bitch! That's right, I am the leader of the 9-gag army, and you're fucked, bitch! I'll fucking kick your ass anytime I'm gonna hack your account, bitch!
Somehow, this guy who had been a big troll to Josh managed to hack into his account. Or maybe he found a way to get access to Josh's PC virtually and steal the password to his YouTube channel. Out of pure spite for Josh, instead of taking full control of the account for himself, he decided to leave the chaos to his viewers. It was like he wanted to make sure the whole thing became known to everyone. Just a few hours after the video went viral, Josh lost access to his original account. Someone had gotten into it and completely taken over his content. It was a blow to Josh, one that left him scrambling. But never one to back down for too long, Josh quickly regrouped. On the same day, he created a new account called King Cobra JFS, determined to start fresh and rebuild what he had lost. Just when he was in the process of branding his new channel, a new creator decided to target Josh.
Josh Saunders, you will be dealt with if you don't, and the boys and the fans. We must take time to get together. So stop messing with my fans. Stop messing with everybody. This is not a threat, not a hate video. This is just a warning. And there will be a press conference, a press briefing tonight on this situation. So that's some inventory things, and you're signing off.
No one really knew why this creator had it out for Josh. The guy kept insisting that Josh would stop messing with him and his fans, but at that point no one could figure out if Josh had any actual connection to him or if it was all just random trolling. There was a lot of mystery surrounding the whole situation. Josh's response to this creator came in the form of his very first video on his new channel. After losing everything on his old account, this new video was his chance to address the situation.
People are saying I'm talking on this Raymond character. It's Raymond 20 Federation with a message to the haters. First off, Raymond, dude, okay, I want to apologize if you think that I was talking shit about you. I wasn't. Personally, I had no idea who you were. Someone just left a message saying, why did you talk shit about Raymond? I'm like, who the fuck is Raymond? I don't know if they're talking about the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond or whoever, okay? My mistake.
Josh first became aware of Raymond's video when some people started reaching out to him, asking why he had been saying so many bad things about Raymond. Josh was confused and quickly claimed that he didn't even know who Raymond was, let alone say anything bad about him. It seemed like Raymond was just looking for a reason to stir up drama and cause controversy between the two of them.
I don't know what's going on, but like I said, dude, I never heard of you until just now. That is a possibility that my account was hacked into, and they could use my account to talk shit on your channel and make it look like I was doing it. So, that was a mistake on my part because I shared an account with somebody and whatever. But I wish you the best of luck with your life and cheers for sticking it to the haters, man. Because I agree with you, haters do suck. They need to get a life. That's all I gotta say.
We learned something new here. Josh admitted that he lost his last account because he had shared it with someone else. It's possible that the last person he shared the account with was the one who passed Josh's password along to Jack Lasson, the person behind the hack. This revelation gave a bit of context to the situation, showing that Josh may not have been directly responsible for the drama, but rather caught up in the consequences of his own mistakes. In response to Raymond, Josh offered an apology, saying that he had no idea what was going on and that any insults Raymond had received were likely from the people who had hacked his account, not from him personally. So with the Raymond saga out of the way, Josh went back to business as usual, but started getting more negative comments about his relationship. He was constantly attacked for not taking care of Stephanie as he should.
A lot of y'all are like, Stephanie is so much better than him. Well, guess what? I just made Stephanie a Hot Pocket and got her some Dr. Pepper. So you know, shit talking can go to hell with the shit talking. How's the Hot Pocket, sweetie? It's 4 meats and cheese.
That's good.
That's good. If you think you can be a better boyfriend than me, please, by all means, I challenge you. That's sarcasm, of course, because... Anyway, hi, Stephanie.
Alright.
What's your boyfriend?
In response to the ongoing drama, Josh decided to show his followers just how well Stephanie was being treated and how comfortable she was in his home. At that time, Stephanie had been mostly staying with Josh, and he wanted to make it clear that she was well taken care of, given the impression that everything was going smoothly in their relationship. However, after a few weeks, Stephanie left for Job Corps, leaving Josh alone at his place. During this time of solitude, Josh decided to let his friend Chris come stay with him after Chris's grandparents had thrown him out of their house.
So if I was truly a prick, I would let my friend stay at my apartment. He's kicked out of his grandfather's house. I could be a prick and say, you know what, sleep in your van, whatever. SSS more important. Fuck that. Alright, fuck that. I'm like, you know what, dude, I got an apartment, I got a futon, you want to crash the futon, that's cool. You want to help out with me, I'll help out with you, you know, keep this shit going, you know what I'm saying? So no.
One thing that made Josh's viewers question how he was treating Stephanie wasn't necessarily the lifestyle he provided for her or the attention he gave, but the fact that he had cheated on her in the past. He admitted that he had slept with another woman in exchange for a cigarette, a moment of poor judgment that Josh later regretted. Months after the cheating incident, Josh confessed what he had done to Stephanie. To his surprise, she forgave him, but not everyone was as forgiving. While Stephanie may have been willing to move past it, Josh's viewers and people who were watching from the outside likely felt that she should have walked away from him instead of forgiving his betrayal. This left Josh open to some harsh criticism, and from time to time, his haters would make fun of him for cheating on his girlfriend. They would bring up the incident as a way to call him out, mocking him for his actions.
So, where's Stephanie? Oh, she went back to Job Corps, really? I heard things. You heard things? Yeah. Like what? You cheated on her. Yes, I cheated on her. You're such an asshole. Yeah. I'm gonna give you so much shit for this, I know. You and everyone else on YouTube. Well, seriously. Seriously. What? They act like you're the first guy to cheat on somebody. Seriously, what the fuck is that shit? Well, no one's perfect, Sean. No shit. Was she any good? Who's Stephanie? Yeah. No? I'm talking about the other one. She was pregnant. Really? Yeah. Was it yours? No. See, you fucked a pregnant chick. Yes, I fucked a pregnant chick. And she was drunk. You are such a sad asshole, you know that?
In response to the constant trolling and haters who kept calling him a cheater, Josh decided to make a video where he used a puppet to play out a conversation. In the video, the puppet spoke with him about the cheating incident, where Josh openly admitted to what he had done. He defended himself by saying, "Why are they acting like I'm the first man to ever cheat on a woman?" He then went on to remind his viewers that no one is perfect, as if that somehow justified his actions. Josh also shared some details to try to make his situation more uncomfortable, revealing that the woman he cheated on Stephanie with had been drunk and pregnant at the time. As regards Chris, it didn't take long for Josh to start getting tired of his presence. Chris really took advantage of his time at his place. He'd bring his brother over to play games and laugh at Josh while he ate. He wouldn't clean up after himself unless Josh kept bugging him about it. Also, Chris didn't chip in much financially. And to make things worse, he even invited his dad over while Josh was away for Thanksgiving with his family.
Chris and ZRT buddies of mine are out on a camping trip right now to survive, so I got the apartment to myself for tonight. A lot of fans are concerned that Chris is leeching off of me, shit like that, and he kinda is. But thing is, I'm a good friend and I care about him, you know what I'm saying? But after about a month of living with Chris, I can see why everyone else just doesn't put up with the shit for too long, because... And I basically let Chris know, I said, look, dude, I hate to do this to you, man, but I can't afford to take care of the both of us here. I'm sorry, I can't afford that. So I gave him to the end of the month. Get a job and you gotta move out. And either way he's moving out. And Chris understands, thankfully enough, which is good.
While Chris was out for something, Josh saw an opportunity to finally say what had been on his mind. He summoned the courage to confront Chris about the situation and told him straight up that his time at Josh's place was running out. Josh explained that he couldn't afford to take care of both of them and that it wasn't working out with Chris staying there anymore. He gave Chris a month to find a job and move out, making it clear that he needed to start being more independent and take responsibility for his own life, something Josh's dad had done to him not so long ago. It wasn't an easy conversation, but Josh felt it was necessary. Also, Stephanie will be returning from Job Corps soon, and they would need their privacy.
Good news is I got paid. Bad news is It's not enough. Luckily enough, though, I have money in my savings account to take care of rent, which means I can't spend time on my paycheck on anything but rent. Rent's taken care of. Internet, on the other hand, might not be. Much to my chagrin, I did not budget my money very well. So you're saying, well, where did that $100 go? So you're saying, where did that $200 go, if you are asking? Number of things. Groceries and gas for Chris's van, which is now impounded, basically, so Chris lost his van. It broke down on the highway. Chris and Matt had to walk their happy asses back to the apartment that night.
The financial excuse Josh gave to Chris was grounded in reality. Josh was struggling to pay his bills, and it was only his savings that kept him from falling behind on payments. At this point, Chris wasn't helping out at all with the bills, which only made the situation more difficult for Josh. If Chris had been a little more supportive, maybe by pitching in or finding a way to contribute, Josh might have been more than willing to let him stay a little longer. But with the financial strain weighing on him, Josh felt like he couldn't continue. Eventually, the last stray came for Josh when Chris was arrested.
Chris got arrested. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he'll be in jail till Monday. And Monday he has court. So, Chris now has no job, no car, and he's in jail. My all honest sincerity and hope is that Chris is doing some serious thinking right now, if he's awake, about what he wants to do with his life. Because right now he's not in a good direction. He's not going in a good direction. He has helped out on occasion, I will admit this. He has cleaned up once in a while. Once in a while he cooks, and once in a while he gets me a ride to work. But his van's impounded as far as I know. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as, but I will know this, is that, Chris has till the end of the month. There is no 2-week waiting bullshit period, you know?
It's kind of ironic that Josh ended up being the one to take care of a grown man like Chris. It almost felt like Josh had become the caretaker, handling the responsibilities that Chris should have been managing himself. In a way, it gave Josh a better understanding of the sacrifices his father must have made over the years, especially considering how stubborn Josh had been during his time living with his parents. The constant push and pull with Chris might have opened Josh's eyes to the pressures his dad had faced, trying to help him grow into a responsible adult, even when Josh wasn't always willing to listen. Although Josh never fully explained what crime Chris had committed, it seemed like it was something serious enough for Josh to feel alarmed. There must have been more to the story that led to Chris being thrown out by his grandparents, and Josh, in trying to be a good friend, took him in despite the complications. It's easy to see why Josh might have been wary, though. He was already struggling with his own responsibilities and didn't need more stress added to his plate. However, given that Josh always puts Chris on the internet and Chris most likely sees these videos afterwards, the next couple of days were challenging for both of them.
And I got some yogurt here to go with it, so that was an easy to make meal. I could get every fruit group all in one little package here, and really filling and really delicious. So this had a little bit of everything minus the fish, which should be in the dairy actually. So yeah, so this pretty much the
fish goes in protein. It's meat.
Chris, do you have to correct me every fucking video I make?
Why the fuck would you think that fish is a dairy product? Does it come out of a cow?
One of the major issues Josh always had with Chris was Chris's constant need to be seen as the smart one. During Josh's live streams, Chris would often interrupt him, pointing out any faults in what Josh said, sometimes correcting him in front of his viewers. This particular moment was a prime example. Josh had wrongly called fish a dairy product, and Chris, rather rudely, interrupted him to correct the mistake on live video. This set Josh off, and understandably so, given their previous issues. While it's fine to correct someone when they're wrong, especially when you're close friends, the way Chris did it was not good enough. He could have communicated his point in a way that didn't embarrass Josh or make him look bad to the audience. Since Josh was already dealing with enough trolls and negativity online, the last thing he needed to have was Chris add to it by making him feel small in front of everyone.
It contains protein like milk. Milk's a dairy product.
Milk, cheese, all that is dairy. Peanuts go into proteins, which are meat.
Maybe it was a slip of the tongue. It happens. Okay, stop correcting me every fucking video. I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Clearly, Josh was trying to control his anger in front of the camera, likely because he didn't want to escalate the situation further in front of his viewers. Even though Josh knew he was wrong for calling fish a dairy product, the way Chris interrupted him seemed to throw him off, especially since it happened live. When you're trying to engage with an audience, getting interrupted like that can be frustrating. It breaks the flow of the video and can make you feel self-conscious. This can make Josh less comfortable making videos with Chris around, knowing that he has to be extra careful with what he says so that he doesn't get corrected in front of everyone. Josh will likely start second-guessing himself, which can kill the spontaneity that makes videos feel more natural. Later in the video, Josh tried to throw a jab at Chris for always correcting him.
Here's a job for you, Chris. You could be a teacher. You can teach people your way. You can teach people. You should like to correct people a lot.
Josh wasn't letting the situation slide. He took the opportunity to get back at Chris by claiming that instead of being jobless and constantly correcting him, Chris should consider becoming a teacher, because he certainly knew how to correct people all the time. It was a good jab, one that probably stung Chris. And even though Chris probably found it annoying, he kept his composure and said nothing in response. But then Josh said something else that pushed Chris over the edge.
If Chris was motivated about parties as we're about job hunting or getting a job.
Dude, shut the fuck up. I've been looking for a job. It's not like I haven't been trying. Just because I don't have one yet, doesn't mean I don't try.
Well, I guess I just pulled the tampon out of his vag.
The comments on the video were going wild at that point, with viewers feeding off the tension between Chris and Josh. In the heat of the moment, Josh added another comment that set Chris off. He said that if Chris had been more motivated about going to parties instead of focusing on looking for a job, maybe he would have already found one by now. Chris was pissed off and snapped back, telling Josh to shut up and claiming that he had been looking for a job but was not having any luck at it so far. While all this was happening and Josh was preparing for his new album, he came up with a shocking revelation about his relationship with Stephanie.
If you think sex control your life that much, then you don't deserve to be with someone. You need to be with someone who's openly honest with you and is not going to treat you like shit. And I'll admit I'm being a real hypocrite right now. That's why I broke up with Stephanie, because at first I was like, I got sucked into that black hole that's love, man. And you know what? I'm sorry. I couldn't take the guilt of treating Stephanie like that. I mean, at first it was like, fuck yeah, this is great, I got a girlfriend. But then they let it cloud my judgment, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this sucks. Finally, it was like, dude, who cares? It's sex. Just go with it, man. But then I thought, no, I'm a gentleman. I'm not gonna treat Stephanie like that. I'm not gonna. She's too beautiful of a person, too nice of a person to. Always gonna be one of those assholes I grew up hating because they had more women than me and took advantage of it. She's doing like shit. So, and yeah, it sucks because I don't get to be with her. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? I'm saving her heartbreak in the long run because I don't want to put Stephanie through that. Especially I have my heart broken by women too many times because women refuse to see the nice guys out there. You want to know something, women? Okay, nice guys are out there. Just because we may dress like this doesn't mean we're not nice people.
Josh was rambling a lot in his confession, trying to explain himself, but the core of what he was saying was that he broke up with Stephanie because he genuinely believed she deserved better. He admitted that he didn't keep his word to her and cheated on her in the past, which weighed heavily on him. She said that he couldn't live with the guilt of what he had done to her, and that's ultimately why he felt the need to end things. In a way, Josh's trolls were right all along. Stephanie probably should have left him when he first cheated. With just a week or two remaining before Chris had to leave Josh's apartment, Josh decided to read out some of the troll comments about Chris while he was beside him. It seemed like Josh thought this was the best way to get his point across.
I thought I'd share with you some of the comments people left in the last video I made when you're in it. You're not helping him by letting him mooch and lay around playing Xbox, opening tuna with your scissors, and keep busting your ass at Wendy's to keep a roof of internet over man baby's head. Thought you were a man up, Saunders. So a man up's for, helping someone when they need it. And circumstances, yeah, I know they suck, but...
Josh probably thought that if he was going to get Chris out of the house for good, Josh figured he needed to show Chris just how people perceived him, especially when it came to how lazy and irresponsible he had been for so long. It was a bit of a bold move, probably meant to make Chris see what others were saying and perhaps wake him up to the reality of the situation. Josh likely hoped that confronting Chris with these comments would help him understand why things couldn't go on the way they had. It was a way for Josh to try to get some closure on the living situation, but it also risked making the situation more uncomfortable. Instead of handling it directly and privately, Josh put it out there for everyone to see, which might have added to the strain between them.
Why the fuck is that giant retard wearing camis? Josh, stop listening to Chris and get him the apartment, like right now. Almost didn't know Chris because the camouflage was making him blend in with the couch. Chris should be put down. Chris has a terminal case of dumb fucktitis. Symptoms include being a lazy piece of shit, mooching off your friends while not contributing anything, avoiding work like the plague. Chris doesn't like doctors. Take a time machine to the Middle Ages then.
I would.
Then he goes on to tell you to shut up after you're trying to talk some sense into him because you are ruining his high. Yeah, man, he's a good friend. So Chris is like 10 minutes out of jail and already getting high with his other friends, and it's like somehow convinces you to stay at your apartment for another 2 weeks. Really need to kick his dumb ass out of the apartment, dude. Awkward.
The comments Josh read out were brutal and so direct, aimed squarely at Chris. You could feel the sting of every word as Chris sat there, probably trying to process it all. It must have been tough for him to hear all these harsh things from people who didn't know him personally, but who had already made their judgment based on his laziness. As he read the comments carefully, you have to wonder what was going through his mind. Was he feeling embarrassed, angry, or maybe just resigned to the fact that this was how people saw him?
Wow, looks like you guys are getting along great. How many hours is Chris out of prison? Already destroyed your apartment, already taking your smokes and smoking weed. Wow, kick him out, Josh.
What?
Ouch.
I took your smokes? I didn't take your smokes. I smoked these last night.
Menthols.
Yeah.
But I got you.
The trolls went even further, claiming that Chris had destroyed Josh's apartment and taken his smoke. Chris immediately denied these accusations, showing that he smoked menthols instead. But here's the thing, these trolls would have never known about these supposed incidents if Josh hadn't brought them up to his fans in the first place. By sharing those details, Josh essentially opened the door for the trolls to target Chris with these accusations, whether true or false. It became clear that Josh wasn't entirely comfortable confronting Chris directly. If he had been, he wouldn't have aired this situation out for his audience. Josh was struggling to figure out how to address the issues with Chris without upsetting him or making things worse. Instead of having an honest conversation with Chris, he turned to his fans and allowed the trolls to make things even messier.
That fat bastard really needs to go. He's abusing your kindness, Josh. Basically all the comments. Yeah.
Dude, there's not a day that goes by that I don't look for a job.
You have to convince me. Damn, you gotta convince.
I gotta convince them. It's YouTube trolls.
The trolls didn't hold back, even going as far as calling Chris a fat bastard. This was definitely a low blow, and it understandably made Chris angry. He couldn't take it anymore and voiced his frustration, defending himself against the cruel remarks. In Chris's defense, he reiterated that he had been trying to find a job but just hadn't had any luck yet, an excuse he'd been repeating for weeks. Josh, however, deflected it. He told Chris that he didn't need to convince him, but rather it was the viewers he needed to prove himself to. They were the ones watching, and they were the ones who needed to see that Chris was genuinely trying to find a job. But Chris, already frustrated with the whole situation, snapped back angrily. He argued that he didn't need to prove anything to the trolls, seeing them all as a bunch of online haters who weren't worth his time or effort. And that was the last time we ever saw Chris in any video or in Josh's apartment. Poor guy, that intervention must have been traumatic. The trolling really took a toll on his ego, and he just couldn't take it anymore. Chris probably left Josh's apartment not long after that. Eventually, Josh and Stephanie got back together. Stephanie finished her time at Job Corps and moved in with Josh. During this time, Josh became friends with a cult leader named Damien. Over time, Stephanie came clean and confessed to Josh that she had cheated on him with Damien.
Now, when I left work, I went to go clock out, and according to the clock, I hadn't clocked in yet. So, yeah, I got a little pissed. I'm like, really? So, that's basically what I did, that right there, you know. And I walked back to the back room to find one of my managers to let her know that, well, it turns out I was clocked in, no big deal, right? So as I'm walking away, this coworker of mine, he decided to open his fat mouth. He's like, you don't need to be throwing fits over here. I'm like, you know what, why don't you shut your fat mouth? That little side comment of his, I felt was not necessary, to say the least, because one, I wasn't throwing a fucking fit, and two, I was this close to taking his head and sticking it in the fryer, watching his face melt off all over the fryer grease. This close. Okay, this close.
He started the video by rambling about an encounter he had at work and how he came close to fighting with the person. You could tell from the way he was speaking that he wasn't in a good mood, not because of what happened at work, but because of what Stephanie had told him.
Now, the reason why I was a little pissed off, well, this morning I wake up to find out that my girlfriend Stephanie cheated on me. Now, I realize I have no room to bitch and complain about it because I have cheated on her in the past, but that was a one-time thing, and I haven't made an effort to do such things since. But here's what happens. The first time, I wouldn't really count the first time because she said this dude fingered her, supposedly a friend of mine. Turns out she didn't really get fingered by him. He just rubbed her vagina through her pants, kind of with her pants on, kind of, you know. All right, whatever.
Josh tried to justify his girlfriend's actions by pointing out that he had done a similar thing to her in the past. He claimed that he hadn't cheated on her since then, but the way she spoke about the situation was a bit strange. He went on to mention that Stephanie had cheated on him twice with Damien, someone Josh still called his friend. Josh seemed to downplay the first incident, saying it wasn't serious because it was just fingering, something Stephanie didn't even like. In a typically odd way, Josh talked about how he couldn't count his friend fingering his girlfriend as the first time cheating. He claimed that since Stephanie didn't enjoy it, he didn't consider it real cheating. But think about it, the fact that she sat there while Damien was doing it meant it was consensual. It seemed like Stephanie had told Josh about it the first time it happened, and Josh didn't do anything about it, probably because he didn't see a problem with what went down.
And today she tells me that the same dude had anal sex with her. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I'm figuring why the fuck is she going to some other dude for this? And I said, Stephanie, look, if you want to have anal sex, look, why fuck you in your ass? What's up with that? And she goes, well, I would, but you're too big, dear. I'm like, why'd you even do that? And she goes, well, I enjoy it, and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, if you fucking enjoy it, then what's wrong with doing it with just me? Your boyfriend. Okay?
Instead of Josh being upset in the way most people would be, angry that his girlfriend had cheated on him, his reaction was oddly fixated on something else. He seemed more concerned with the fact that Stephanie had been willing to do certain things with Damien that she had never done with him. In particular, he was baffled and frustrated that she had been willing to have anal sex with Damien but not with him. This seemed to be his main focus, not the fact that she had cheated.
And she goes, well, babe, I've told you about this before. And basically, Stephanie wants to have more than one sexual partner. She wants to try that thing, I guess. She's talked to me about having a threesome with another woman involved, and I said, I'm okay with that, because let's face it, what dude wouldn't want to fuck two girls at the same time, right? But then she says she wants to also have another dick in that, and I'm like, no. Okay, that's where I draw the line.
It turns out that Stephanie was more inclined toward having an open relationship with Josh, wanting to explore other options while still being with him. While some people are open to the idea of non-monogamy, it didn't seem very fair to Josh. The problem was that, in a situation like that, it would be much easier for her to find sexual partners since she was a woman. For Josh, who we all know is a nerd, it would be a lot more difficult to find someone interested in him, making the whole idea unbalanced. It was an unreasonable demand in Josh's eyes, and he declined. The idea of an open relationship also involved threesomes, which Josh agreed to, but with one important condition, that the third party had to be a woman, not a man.
Obviously, I can't physically stop her from doing those kinds of things, because I don't own her. I can't physically, you know what I'm saying? But she could have waited to tell me this until I got off work. Normally, I'm not in too cranky of a mood when I go to work, but that little tidbit right there is just the one thing to start my Monday off just right, isn't it? And there's times, I don't want to have sex, I'm tired, whatever. And I'm sure it pisses her off because, let's face it, Stephanie's more into sex than I am. So, yeah, I'm a little pissed right now, and the fact that she wants, she's like, well, I want to talk about it. She's like, I'm like, all right, let's talk about it. And she goes, well, I don't want to cage myself because it'll just piss you off. I'm like, excuse me? In case you haven't noticed, I'm a little strange myself here.
Josh admitted that ideally a committed relationship is where both parties exercise restraint and respect each other's boundaries. He acknowledged that, despite his feelings, he couldn't physically stop Stephanie from going out and doing what she wanted. It also turned out that she dropped the bombshell about cheating on him while he was at work, which is likely why Josh almost got into a fight there. He was already feeling frustrated and conflicted over what she had told him. Josh also confessed that Stephanie had a much higher sex drive than he did, which I believed might be the real reason behind her request for an open relationship. She was looking for more fulfillment, something that he couldn't provide.
It's just frustrating. You know, little shit like this has to happen every other goddamn day. I'm fucking tired of it, to be honest with you. But again, I can't really complain about Stephanie cheating on me because I have cheated on her before, and of course, as I'm clocking out, getting ready to leave, and I leave, and who should I see sitting in the lobby that I had so painstakingly? Stephanie sitting in my lobby right there, you know, wanting to talk about this morning. And I'm like, what's there to talk about? You pretty much told me everything there is to know about the situation. And she goes, and then if that doesn't say enough about Stephanie's character, here's where it gets better. She then tells me she has thoughts of suicide occasionally, talking about wanting to slit her wrists and shit, how she's self-conscious about her weight and yada yada yada. Do you still think I'm pretty? Well, when you're doing shit like this, not really. And it's just so goddamn frustrating. It's like most guys when their girlfriend tells them that they did this shit. You go, my ass, was he better than me? Oh no, he wasn't better than me, I just I'm like, well, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Josh tried to console himself by convincing himself that his past cheating on Stephanie was somehow justified what she had done to him. She seemed to be using his own mistake as a way to rationalize her actions, even though cheating and emotional betrayal are never really excusable no matter the circumstances. Despite Stephanie wanting to talk things through, Josh didn't want to discuss the matter anymore. It seemed like he had made up his mind and was completely done with her. Josh then began painting her in a much more negative light to his viewers. He started claiming that she had a bad temper, and that at one point, she'd even talked about wanting to slit her wrists.
It doesn't help that this person that she got anally penetrated by was a friend of mine. Yeah, my friend Damien, the one that has the autistic 6-year-old, the one I defended on YouTube because his daughter's getting picked on. Nice. I pretty much texted his wife what had happened, and him and his wife were in an open relationship. That's none of my business, really. But I figured she should know the details before, you know. And the whole touching the vagina through the pants thing, that happened a couple months ago, just about. And then this shit had to happen. And she goes, I don't want you to be mad at me because it might happen again. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay? When you're in a relationship with somebody, if it's not open, you don't do that. You just don't.
Josh claimed that he had texted Damien's wife to let her know about what had happened between Damien and Stephanie, but the situation was more complicated than it seemed. Damien and his wife were in an open relationship, meaning the actions Damien took with Stephanie weren't necessarily wrong according to the rules they had set within their marriage. Stephanie, on the other hand, seemed to want a certain reaction from Josh after the whole situation went down. She was likely hoping for him to get angry or emotional about what had happened. However, Josh didn't give her the reaction she was expecting. Instead, he kept his cool, and in a way that seemed to frustrate her even more. He later claimed that she had wanted him to be mad because she felt that she might cheat on him again. Later that day, he went on a rant discussing his feelings and trying to process the betrayal he felt in his heart.
At the end of the fucking day of YouTube, I realized that I'm just a fucking retard that cleans the lobby. I have no social value in society whatsoever. I'm not worth 2 cents of shit. I'm just a worthless piece of shit. I realize that. I'll accept that and take it for what it is, you know, but other than that, now that I've bitched about it and I'm getting my drink on here and I don't feel so angry about it now, I realize how fucking easy it would be to kick Stephanie's ass too. I'm twice her size, twice her muscle, you know, and I'm like, you know what, beating Stephanie up because of this issue wouldn't solve anything. If anything, it'd make the situation worse. And I'm not going to be one of those scumbag boyfriends that hits their women because of some stupid shit.
Josh went on a rant, expressing feelings of worthlessness and frustration about himself, feeling like he was useless both to the people close to him and to society. He seemed to go into this self-deprecating mindset, blaming himself for everything that had been happening in his life, almost as if his perceived lack of value was the reason things were falling apart. It was a moment of deep anger and self-pity. However, Josh started saying some truly nasty things about what he could do to Stephanie, referencing his physical size and implying that he could overpower her. Thankfully, Josh recognized the danger of his own words because he wasn't that stupid to act on such violent thoughts. knowing that any such action would land him in prison. Years after this incident happened, Stephanie made a video sharing her side of the story.
Part of me breaking up with Josh was because, yes, I cheated on him. He cheated on me too, but when he cheated on me, he told me like months later. I had more respect for him and told him the next day. Another part of it was I was going through a lot of changes in opinion because at the moment my self-esteem was going up, like way up, and so I was realizing things about myself. I was becoming awakened in myself. Another part of it was he kind of threatened a friend that it happened with, but he also kind of threatened me in a way. I get he was trying to be joking and, kinky or whatever, but at the same time, when he said that, I wasn't sure if I should take it as a joke or take it seriously. And I took it seriously and I left. I'm doing way better now. I'm way happier.
Josh thought he could keep all his anger bottled up inside, but eventually the pressure became too much to handle. The issues between him and Stephanie continued to build, and the arguments became more intense. His frustration and resentment started spilling out, and during some of these arguments, Josh even made threats towards Stephanie. This change in behavior made Stephanie realize that things were getting worse, and she knew she couldn't stay in that environment anymore. Feeling unsafe and overwhelmed by the tension, she decided to pack her things and leave. She chose to stay with Damien and his wife, likely seeing it as a safer and more stable option at the time. Months after the breakup, a drunk Josh sent his ex Stephanie a text.
Yeah, and I'm getting a call from one of my friends saying, "Hey, buddy, we'll come over and visit for a bit, minute and catch up." I think it's Stephanie calling me. It turns out it wasn't. It was someone else. And then Stephanie sends me a text that says, "We won't be able to visit. Rides here. You were at the bar last night." And I texted back, "Sounds good to me." That's how drunk I was last night. That might have come off as a little harsh, but it's just, of course, couldn't tell. I couldn't barely read the texts. I was just like, "I won't be able to come over and visit. Rides here." I thought the text said, "Be coming over soon, rides here," or something like that. But when they didn't show up, I was like, "Oh, so you don't want to visit me? I see how it is. Whatever. I'm not going to have issues with it." But then I look at my phone, and Stephanie's text says...
Josh was all over the place with his explanation, jumping from one thought to another. But the main point he was trying to get across was that he had a text chat with Stephanie. While under the influence of alcohol, he misread the text she sent him. When he was better, he read the actual message she sent to him and discovered his mistake.
Out of sheer desperation, she sends me a text and I say, "It's Stephanie, what are you thinking?" "I was thinking if you want to be in an open relationship, if you don't, I understand." "No, I don't." "Oh, all right then. Won't be able to visit. Ride is here. Sounds good to me." Between that text and then the text after that, what I'm saying? I don't blame Stephanie for not wanting to be in an open relationship with me, what I'm saying? If I was making her unhappy in the one we had for 2 years, which is quite alright by me, I'm 23, I'm fairly attractive, I play some mean guitar, I got this sexy long hair, and, oh yeah, these bulging biceps to, make you feel safe at night, ladies, that's what's up,
Apparently, the chat was about their relationship and whether there was any chance to salvage or repair what was already broken. She brought up the idea of an open relationship once again, hoping that Josh might be more open to the idea now. However, Josh declined, still not willing to entertain the possibility. Looking at the situation, it's possible that Josh and Stephanie's relationship might have worked out if things had been different, particularly if Stephanie hadn't met Damien and been influenced by his and his wife's open relationship. Damien and his wife's system probably opened Stephanie's eyes to the possibilities and opportunities that come with being in an open relationship. Her exposure to this lifestyle made her question what she truly wanted from her relationship with Josh. Josh, on the other hand, might have been more willing to forgive Stephanie if she had apologized and promised not to cheat on him again, especially because he had cheated on her in the past. He seemed to want commitment and loyalty, and if she had shown that she was ready to settle for him and only him, it's possible he could have overlooked the cheating. Since leaving Stephanie, Josh has had a lot of trouble getting back to the dating scene. He had a few relationships that didn't last, including a lady with 3 children. Eventually, he started considering sex dolls as alternatives.
I appreciate the fact that Scotty and his girlfriend have been trying to hook me up, you know what I'm saying? That's a nice gesture. But someone on YouTube had suggested that I try the same sex, and I'm like, no, I'm good on that. Fuck that. People have asked me this question, and they keep asking me if I'm trans, and the answer is no, I'm not. But yeah, my homeboy Scotty's got himself a girlfriend now, and he's super happy to be with her, you know. He loves her very much, and she loves him, and they seem to make a really great couple, and I'm very happy for him right now, you know what I'm saying?
Things had gotten so bad that Josh's friends started trying to set him up with some ladies, hoping he could find a girlfriend to move on from the mess with Stephanie. At the same time, there was some talk about him exploring the idea of being a same-sex partner. This suggestion was immediately rejected by Josh, who made it clear that he wasn't interested in that direction. It seemed like the suggestion came from the assumption that if Josh went down the same-sex route, he might find it easier to find a partner, since there could be more available men interested in him. The whole situation felt awkward, and it was clear that Josh wasn't comfortable with the idea.
But yes, the title of this video is going to be called I'm Not Gay and I'm Not Trans. And I'm here to confirm it that I'm, like I said, I'm straight and I'm a dude, okay? I'm not trans and I'm not gay. Plain and simple. I would probably, if I couldn't get a girlfriend to save my life, I would probably end up buying a sex doll or going sexual, one of the two, before I'd do any of the other stuff.
Josh got quite a lot of attention from the video, and as time went on, people began to repost it and even edit it, taking parts of it out of context. One particular creator edited the video in a way that really infuriated Josh, twisting his words or presenting them in a way that Josh didn't agree with. This is the edited video.
Someone on YouTube had suggested that I try the same sex, and I'm like, yeah, one, I'm into that. Okay, I'm actually gay, thank you very much. And two, I've had several people on Facebook and YouTube tell me that, you know, the right girl will come along, I just gotta wait. Not. Yeah. Also, while I'm on the subject of wands, people have asked me this question, and they keep asking me if I'm trans, and the answer is, yeah, I'm trans, I'm gay, and I'm goth. I don't know what's so f***ing hard to understand about that.
The edited video twisted everything Josh had said, claiming that Josh was gay, even though he had clearly stated in his original video that he wasn't.
But it hasn't stopped me from being gay, you know what I'm saying? I'm trans and I'm gay. People saying I should go gay because it's much easier, and one, I'm gay, and two, really? Check this out. One person on Facebook had commented, you should start a Kickstarter for your sex doll, and it's like, I'm gonna do that. But yes, the title of this video is going to be called I'm Gay and I'm Trans.
Angry and frustrated, Josh went straight to the video to report it, as well as the person's channel for stealing his content and twisting his words. He was determined to make sure that the misrepresentation was addressed. Fortunately for Josh, YouTube took down the video, agreeing with this claim that it violated his content. But by the time the video was removed, the damage had already been done. The video had already been shared widely and made its rounds, and despite Josh's efforts, it ended up on Vimeo, where it still remains to this day.
So the person making fun of me on YouTube just got their account terminated. They basically stole my videos, and then they used my videos to slander me on YouTube. I wasn't gonna put up with it. I reported them to YouTube for harassing me and stealing my videos, and I got their account terminated. Fuck with King Cobra, you get bit.
With the bully out of the way and his account suspended, Josh tried to get back to his regular routine, but something was still bothering him. He was feeling lonely. He had been single for over a year, and despite all his efforts, there was no sign of a partner in sight. This sense of loneliness weighed on him more than he expected, and it finally prompted him to make a bold statement in one particular YouTube video, talking about how he would own a sex doll.
Jimmy Goodman asked me, serious question, would you share your sex doll with friends like homeboy Scotty, or would you treat it more like a girlfriend? No judgment here, man, just curious. And of course my answer was, I treat her like my queen and my girlfriend. She would be my silicone goddess.
Josh took some time to answer questions from his fans, and one of the more unusual questions was about what he would do with his sex doll when his friends wanted a piece of it. Josh, being Josh, went into detail about how he wouldn't share his doll with his friends, stating that she would be like his queen and goddess. Josh even went on to list all the pros and cons of having a sex doll.
Now, there are pros and cons to a sex doll, obviously. A couple of the pros. You got a girl that never says no. She doesn't say shit like, oh, your dick's too big, it hurts. She doesn't have a bitchy-ass mother-in-law that says, you're not good enough for my daughter. She doesn't get pregnant, and she doesn't have any STDs. So, yeah, you know. I get rejected a lot by women, and it sucks. And the majority of them do find me attractive, otherwise they wouldn't smile and check me out when they do, you know what I'm saying?
After listing out all the pros of owning a sex doll, Josh got a question from a viewer about his experiences with women. He responded by saying that he gets rejected by a lot of women, which seemed pretty self-deprecating. But then he also said that women find him attractive because they smile at him. If women are smiling at him, why would they be rejecting him at the same time? It seems like they're just trying to be polite. When someone approaches you, especially in a social setting, a smile is often just a way of acknowledging them without being rude. Nothing more than simple courtesy. It doesn't necessarily mean they're interested. It's a case of someone misinterpreting friendliness as an attraction. Josh might have read too much into the smiles, thinking they were a sign of genuine interest. So he went on to describe the cons of owning a sex doll.
Rejection sucks. And trying to convince myself to be so I can avoid rejection, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no. Now, some of the cons to having a sex doll. For some people, it may be kind of awkward and somewhat socially awkward, yes, and creepy. She doesn't love you back. She doesn't claw the shit out of your back with her nails. She doesn't bite the shit out of your neck while she's f***ing you. She can't kiss you back. And outside of the sex, you know, she can't carry on a conversation with you. And that's one of the major perks to having a girlfriend. And then maybe to add to the craziness of it, I could have a conversation with her in public too. That'd be funny as hell. I'd get a kick out of it because I'd laugh. The people around me might be like, oh, he has autism and he has a hard time getting a girlfriend. It's so sad. Oh, look at that, he brought his silicone girlfriend out for a drink. Aww, how brave of him.
As Josh started listing out the cons of owning a sex doll, it was clear from his expression and tone that it wasn't an easy topic for him to discuss. You could see how downcast he looked, almost sad. As he acknowledged the realities of the situation, he knew that these were the issues he'd have to face if he ever actually got his own sex doll. In his desperation to get his own sex doll, Josh took a rather unconventional step. He created a GoFundMe page, hoping that people would contribute to help him purchase one. He probably thought that the idea of crowdfunding his purchase might be the answer to his problem, but as you might imagine, the reaction wasn't exactly what he was expecting. He received a lot of backlash for posting the link online, with many people criticizing him for asking others to fund something so personal. After the negative response, Josh decided to delete the post. But instead of just letting it go, he addressed it in a video explaining what had happened. Josh decided to delete the post. But instead of just letting it go, he addressed it in a video explaining what had happened. Josh knew that GoFundMe is typically used for more serious financial issues, things like medical bills or personal emergencies, before he decided to post the link to crowdfunding for his sex doll. But when the backlash came, instead of admitting that he had made a questionable and somewhat selfish request, Josh now claims that he deleted the post because of the nature of the platform. He was trying to avoid the fact that people had pointed out how inappropriate his request was. Even after deleting the GoFundMe, Josh still left his PayPal link available, claiming that he didn't want anyone's money but would accept it if they felt like sending it. He seemed to want to have his cake and eat it too, claiming he wasn't asking for help, but still making it clear that people could contribute if they felt inclined. Eventually, one of Josh's fans sent him a sex toy, which he could use as a substitute for the sex doll he had been hoping for. However, it wasn't new, didn't have a vaginal insert, and had already been used. Josh named it Felissa and even sang for her in one of his videos, treating it almost as if it were a companion. He tried to make light of the situation, continuing to carry on with his usual antics, but it was clear that this wasn't exactly the ideal solution he had in mind. However, something unfortunate happened when Josh went out job hunting. Josh claimed that while he was away, his house was broken into and his sex doll was stolen by an unknown thief. However, there was something off about the story. If the thief was truly there to steal, why would they only take the sex doll and leave behind all of Josh's other valuables? The whole situation didn't make much sense, and naturally his followers began questioning him about it. They pointed out the oddities in the story, wondering why the thief would target something so specific. In response to the growing criticism, Josh made another post on Facebook addressing the critics. He seemed defensive, trying to explain what happened and justify the situation. The backlash was getting under his skin, but instead of acknowledging the doubts or providing more concrete details, Josh stuck to his version of events. After Josh faced heavy criticism for his unreasonable story about how he lost his sex doll, he came up with a better explanation. He claimed that the police had tracked down the thief who stole his doll, and the thief had been caught with a lot of illegal substances. According to Josh, the thief had chopped up the doll to sell its metal parts and used the money to buy meth. It was a wild story, but even with this added detail, Josh's viewers weren't buying it. The situation seemed too far-fetched for them to believe. Eventually, the pressure became too much, and Josh finally confessed. He had ripped the doll apart himself after having an intimate moment with it. He explained that the doll broke during that moment, which led him to tear it apart out of frustration and disappointment. The person who had bought the doll for him reached out, trying to understand why Josh did what he did.
So, what was going through your head? Like, why are you doing this? This isn't the first time that you've done something like this. We all forgave you for it the first time. But that alone was $1,000. And if your plan is to pay me back, I don't see that happening, and I know that.
The person who had bought Josh the sex doll was understandably disappointed in him, not just for destroying the doll, but also for lying about it being stolen. The man expressed his frustration, pointing out that even though the doll wasn't new, it still cost around $1,000. He knew that Josh didn't have the finances to pay him back, which made the whole situation even worse.
Oh, it's gonna happen, bro, one way or another.
You intend to pay back $1,000?
Yes, I do.
How would you plan on doing that?
Either through t-shirt sales or a job, it's making wands for fans.
Yeah, but you don't do any of that. You just say that you're going to. I don't know what's going on in your life, but this would be a great time to talk about it. Are you using any other drugs or anything? Do you think anything's affecting you?
No, I'm not using any other drugs. Just pot and tobacco.
You're on steroids, Josh.
Yeah, I quit that shit, though. After hearing the sound effects, I'm not doing it anymore. Like, that's nasty, dude. Yeah, we all quit that.
When's the last time that you've used it? Did you use it the night of destroying the doll?
No, I did not. No, he was actually drunk. I don't think I was drunk when I destroyed it, no. No, but when I left, you were pretty buzzed, dude.
So...
Well, what's gonna happen one of these days?
It's not gonna happen. And you've been lying to us all day, and that's another lie that I don't want to listen to.
That's cool, man. Believe what you want to believe. Thanks for staying a fan, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Josh. It was good knowing you. Good talking to you.
Josh, trying to sound accountable, claimed that he would pay the $1,000 back to the person who bought him the doll. But of course, the question quickly arose, how was he going to do that when he was unemployed and broke? The situation was even more complicated because just a few months prior, Josh had lost his job at Wendy's after trolls contacted the company about his online activities. This left him in a tough spot financially, with little to no income coming in. The man, while understanding that Josh was in a tight position, still took a moment to check in on his well-being. He asked Josh if he was doing okay, and if he was taking anything harmful, likely concerned about Josh's emotional state after all the drama. He also went on to explain what happened in a video.
What I did was rather eerie, to say the least, yes, but out of actual frustration. Would I do this to a real girl? Absolutely not. But what happened was, a couple of fans had sent me an awesome sex doll, and I was tickled pink. I was like, dude, this is cool, and I never would have thought something like this would happen. So of course I was having sex with it, and then my dick tore a huge gash in the vagina, and I was embarrassed and frustrated that I couldn't fix it, and that, well, nice going, dumbass, you broke your toy.
After a few months, the controversy around Josh seemed to die down, and he got a bit of luck again. One of his friends sent him a new, slightly used sex doll. Josh, always giving things his unique style, named her Fun-Sized Felicia.
Freaking sex doll. He forgot to put the wig in the box, so I'm using this one until I get the other wig. Yeah, this isn't one of the full-sized ones. This is a fun-sized one, but that's quite alright. I want to give a shout-out to Vapor. Thank you for sending me all this awesome stuff, man. So, how you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, Josh. Ventriloquist act with the sex doll. Really? Oh yeah, I want to take real good care of this one. Yeah, come on, give me a kiss, big boy. How's that? Ooh, you're making me wet.
Unfortunately, Fun-Sized Felicia didn't last long either. After a while, Josh destroyed the doll in a similar way to the first one. It seemed like no matter what he tried, everything just wasn't going right for him, and he continued this way. Josh began to give in to his rage and anger more openly as his frustrations built. While making a video, he choked himself on camera, possibly as a way to express just how overwhelmed he was feeling.
Stupid mouse battery cover, stay the fuck on. Huh? How hard is it? Like, really? I already spilled water on my fucking phone. I don't need you popping off on me, too. Fucking little shit like this, man. Deep breath. Deep breath. Okay, abusing myself isn't gonna help. Smoke some tobacco and calm the fuck down. I woke up frustrated, that's the thing of it. About a lot of things. I woke up frustrated about a lot of things. How Wyoming's never gonna fucking legalize it. But it's never gonna fucking happen. Wyoming is gonna be like one of the last fucking states to legalize it.
Josh's rage wasn't just directed at himself, though. In one of his videos, he made it clear that his anger wasn't only about his struggles. It was a broader, more intense frustration with the entirety of the human race. He spoke about how he felt a deep sense of anger towards people in general, which hinted at a feeling of disillusionment or resentment toward the world around him.
Yeah, it always could be worse, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm fucking pissed right now. It doesn't change the fact that I fucking hate the human race with a passion. Why would you hate the human race? Because we're a disgusting bunch of animals.
Josh's rage also seemed to extend to other races, which made his online behavior even more concerning. He had been suspended from Facebook before the video for spreading hateful slurs, including the N-word. When confronted about it, Josh tried to defend himself, claiming that the way he used the word wasn't as people might think. He argued that his intention behind saying it was different and that the meaning he assigned to the word wasn't what others assumed it to be.
So, I was on KeeperCast last night, and they got banned from Twitch and a bunch of other places. Well, I was kind of drunk on that show. There were some hot chicks in that room. And that Google hangout for that show, and they were just like, one thing led to another. They're like, can you flash your penis? And I was like, well, there's some hot chicks in the room and y'all asked, so why the fuck not? It wasn't even hard, mind you, but it was still pretty impressive without being hard. I mean, it was that look on their face like, oh damn, Cobra's got a nice wang, I want some of that. I think he was on Twitch, but I think he got banned on Twitch for saying the word nigger too much. Which I didn't know you could get banned on social media for doing that thing. Because technically that means ignorant person.
Josh tried to explain away his actions by claiming that he was drunk during the show when he used the N-word and showed his private part on camera. He framed it as if he wasn't in his right mind and that the alcohol caused him to act inappropriately. However, this excuse doesn't hold up when you consider the bigger picture. Even if he was drunk, why would he feel comfortable showing his private part on camera just because the host asked him to? It's a questionable choice at best, and a judgment that can't be entirely blamed on alcohol. When it came to using the N-word, Josh justified it by claiming that he didn't know it was a bad word to say. How is that reasonable? Especially because this happened in 2018. How could Josh not know the significance of that word when he had access to the internet and a wealth of information right at his fingertips? Josh further dug himself into a hole by claiming that he thought the N-word meant an ignorant person. It's hard to believe that Josh expected anyone to buy that defense as his excuse for a serious mistake.
Because, that being said, there's here in every race. And therefore, I'll say it again, there's an ignorant fucker in every race. I mean, this is the kind of show that's known for pushing the boundaries on shit like that. Like, I'll refer to my homies as my crackers, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are my crackers over there, you know what I'm saying?
In this video, Josh went on to say the N-word again, claiming that there is an N-word in every race. That is, if you're using it to refer to an ignorant person. However, this argument doesn't make much sense. If that was truly his point, why not just say ignorant person instead of using the N-word? The word itself carries such a heavy, harmful history, especially when it's used in certain contexts. Josh went on to compare his using the word with calling his friends crackers. In the same video, he went on to talk about how perverse he is with women in public.
Like, there's been times if I literally haven't had sex with a female in like ages, out of nowhere, if a girl walks by me, she'll accidentally brush her boob against me by accident, and I'll feel it brushing against my arm, and I'll feel that's the squishiness of it, and I'll be like, yeah. There's times I've pre-came in my pants just from that happening, unfortunately. Well, it's not unfortunate, it just shows my sexuality, doesn't it? You know, if you haven't had sex with a chick in a long-ass time, and then out of fucking nowhere, you know.
It's important for anyone, especially women, to be vigilant in crowded places. Unfortunately, there are individuals like Josh who might exploit normal, innocent contact for their gratification. Some people may deliberately position themselves in places where they can make unwanted or inappropriate contact, taking advantage of the chaos or crowded environment to get away with it. It didn't take long for Josh to move past his period of rage and find a new girlfriend named Summer. During this time, he was hanging out with two friends, Steve and Sammy. However, things took an interesting turn when Steve, finding Summer attractive, decided to try and seduce her. He proposed a business deal, one that he and Summer would eventually do together. Steve had an agenda, but before he could get the deal off the ground, Sammy caught wind of what was going on.
Alright, what happened was, you know Josh just found a girlie, right? Yeah. And that's awesome. It's fucking badass. I'm happy for Josh, and she's a good woman, and he deserves her, alright? He doesn't deserve the what's coming from, alright? You wanna know the bullshit? Y'all wanna know the bullshit? The bullshit is Josh, alright? Being a good friend. Never been a bad friend, never once. Anytime I needed him, or anytime any of his fucking friends needed him, he was there, alright? He was always fucking there, okay? With that being said, Steve, Mr. Goat, whatever you want to call him, Goat, whatever, alright? This is what happened. Try to f Josh's girl, dude.
Straight up, Steve was trying to get with my girlfriend.
Sammy, being the good friend that he was, appreciated the fact that Josh had finally found someone he truly wanted, someone like Summer. He could see that Josh deserved to be happy and didn't want to see him caught up in any more drama, especially not with what Steve was trying to do. But it didn't take long for Josh and Summer to break up. The breakup happened 2 months after they started dating. She left Josh because she could not handle the harassment she was getting from his trolls. After the breakup with Summer, Josh would resume his drinking habit and rage, usually at inanimate objects in his house.
Play the fucking Star Spangled Banner right now. It's pissing me off! It pisses me off! God damn it! Broke my fucking cigarette! Fuck! The fuck out of my way, you stupid fucking hats! Stupid fucking piece of shit. Hat. You stupid fucking bottle, stand the fucking gas!
Later on, Josh's address got leaked, and he was bombarded with a ton of unpaid pizza orders sent by his trolls. This is how many orders Cobra would get in a single night while he was live streaming.
Oh, let's see what the fucking YouTube troll sent me today. Oh. I guess it's supposed to, oh my god, autistic freakout incoming. It's like, not really. Of course they sent me a bra. It's like, how happy International Women's Day, Cobra. You don't have a girlfriend. You haven't been laid in 6 years. Ha ha ha. Oh my god, you guys, look at that. They fucking sent me a bra. I actually have a friend who has a pet bird, so I'm sure she'll appreciate this. So thank you to my YouTube trolls. The vibrating bullets. Oh, behave. Man, you're giving me a bunch of sweet stuff to hand out to my female neighbors who want it or need it. So thank you for that. Wow, look at that, you guys. My YouTube trolls are keeping me fed. Ba-da-ba-ba. Light mayo packet, honey salt packet, strawberry preserve mustard packet, hot mustard sauce, butter packet, sugar packet, equal packet, S&S sauce, barbecue sauce, grape jam, Happy Meal hamburger, 1 hamburger with extra mustard, extra salt, extra ketchup, 2 mayonnaise, extra onions, no regular meat, plain, extra kids fry, milk, under 3 toy, creamer packet, and syrup. Aww, my troll sent me a Happy Meal.
Cobra dropped a video one day announcing he had a new bearded dragon pet named Puff, but things got a little messy when Josh claimed that one of his friends, Ian, moving into another apartment. Ian couldn't take Puff with him, so Josh stepped up, volunteering to take the little dragon in himself.
I got a pet bearded dragon. His name is Puff, and he is just so adorable, dude. The most badass little lizard you ever did see. My buddy Ian is moving, and he needed a place for Puff. So I volunteered because I've always wanted a reptile, and turns out bearded dragons are super easy to take care of.
Knowing the kind of person Josh was, his followers started to worry about his bearded dragon and voiced their concerns to him. Wanting to prove that he was capable of taking care of the dragon, Josh decided to adopt another pet, a praying mantis he found in his house. He even named it. But after about a week, the praying mantis was dead. Josh hadn't been feeding it properly, and to make matters worse, he kept blowing smoke at the poor thing. In the end, he stuck the dead praying mantis to one of his staff and decided to sell it on Etsy for $666.
That is sick. To pay tribute and respects to Mrs. Green, I immortalized her onto the staff. Now it looks like she's crawling up towards the crystal, and the bottom half glows in the dark. So you bet your sweet Asperger's we're going to charge a pretty penny for this. I want to add one more layer of Gorilla Glue to the top of this just to really make sure it's nice and solid.
It was obvious that Josh kept the praying mantis as a pet to prove he could take care of the bearded dragon, but in all honesty, he failed miserably. Instead of caring for it properly, he turned it into something he could make money off of by gluing it to a staff and trying to sell it. This raised concerns among his followers, who began to worry that he might eventually do the same to the bearded dragon. Some even feared that Josh might try to glue the dragon for a price. To prevent this, they took matters into their own hands. On multiple occasions, they called the local Metro Animal Services to check on the bearded dragon, hoping to ensure it was safe from Josh's potential creative ideas.
Trolls lose. The reason why I say trolls lose is because my trolls have been trying as hard as they can to get Puff taken away from me, harassing Metro Animal Control nonstop. Well, long story short, Metro showed up for the second and last time just a while back. And when I answered the door, I'm like, seriously, is it really Metro? And they're like, yes. A couple of lovely younger gals, you know, they were definitely old enough, but that's beside the point. They're like, we just want to check up on Puff to make sure he's okay. I'm like, oh my fucking God. So I let him see Puff. I even took him out and let the ladies check him out. They said he's a handsome and healthy bearded dragon. And they said this is the last time they're doing a wellness check on him. So the trolls lose.
It turns out that most of the people reporting Josh to animal services weren't just concerned about the bearded dragon's well-being. They wanted the animal taken away before anything bad happened to it. Josh, however, didn't see it that way. He called out his trolls, shaming them for trying to take his pet away. In his eyes, their efforts had failed. For them, it was about the safety and care of the animal, but for Josh, it seemed more like a game of winning and losing. But soon enough, the pattern started again. Josh admitted that he was treating the bearded dragon in a similar way he treated the praying mantis.
I do really hope Puff lives to be a very, very, very old bearded dragon. Yes. Puff enjoys the occasional hit of weed, and he likes thunderstorms. Shit you not. Shit you not. Puff doesn't have a favorite strain that I know of. I don't get him stoned all the time, but every once in a while, he likes a good fat hit. You know what I'm saying? Believe me, when Puff doesn't want anything, he'll let you know with his body language. If I'm smoking marijuana, Puff will kind of look up like, hey man, give me a hit of that. So I'll take a fucking huge ass fucking hit of weed and I'll blow it into his tank. 1 or 2 hits, he's good. He doesn't need a whole lot, you know. And I've seen him do it. When I give him a hit of weed, he'll lift his head up and he'll close his eyes and be like, I know what that is. I don't do it all the time because Puff really doesn't need it to chill out. Like, bearded dragons are normally pretty chilled out.
Just like he did with the praying mantis, Josh claimed that he could feel that Puff, the bearded dragon, enjoyed the smoke. He argued that because Puff didn't show signs of discomfort, it meant the dragon was fine. But anyone who isn't used to smoking would know that when smoke is blown at them, it feels suffocating and uncomfortable. In some cases, a person might cough or feel irritated. So it's hard to imagine how Puff would feel when Josh did the same thing to him. Josh's assumption that the dragon enjoyed it based on its body language is questionable at best. Josh was interpreting Puff's lack of visible distress as enjoyment, but that doesn't take into account how animals can tolerate discomfort without showing obvious signs. After all their attempts to get the bearded dragon away from Josh failed, his critics eventually let him be. Over time, Puff started to appear less and less in Josh's videos. His viewers, curious and concerned, began asking about the whereabouts of the dragon. Under the pressure, Josh eventually posted on his Facebook page, claiming that Puff was missing and hadn't been seen for 2 days. This situation seemed oddly familiar. Wasn't this the same thing Josh had done before with the $1,000 sex doll that was bought for him? He had previously claimed it was stolen or lost, just like he's now claiming with Puff. He went on with this narrative for months until today no one knows the whereabouts of Puff. After seemingly getting away with his treatment of Puff, Josh found love again in a long-distance relationship with an older woman named Jessica. She was in her 40s and was still living with her parents. Josh was eager to meet her in person, but there was one big problem. Jessica was too broke to afford the flight to come see him. Luckily for Josh, one of his trolls stepped in and paid for her to fly out and meet him. When Jessica arrived, things quickly took a turn. From the way she was behaving on camera, she seemed to be a bit irresponsible, annoying, loud, obnoxious, and constantly love-bombing Josh. Her behavior became overwhelming, and it didn't take long before their situation got so intense that the cops were called for a wellness check.
We're too busy having sex right now, sorry. Hey! We're having sex! Can we fuck around here?
When the cops arrived for the wellness check, it was Josh's trolls who had called them. However, instead of calmly addressing the situation, Jessica made things even more complicated. She lied to the officers, claiming that she and Josh were having an intimate moment and would like some privacy. She said this in a loud, rude manner. This was only part of the problem with Jessica. Fans started to speculate that she might be encouraging or even allowing Josh to partake in harmful alcohol or substances. They noticed that during their live streams, Josh was often completely wasted, barely able to keep it together, while Jessica would be the only one active, chatting and keeping the conversation going.
Entire show.
How do you read this? I can't. I'm too blind. I don't have enough light in my eyes. Joshy? I'm not ignoring anyone. I know most of you don't like me, so I'm not trying to be triggered.
Eventually, even Josh started to get tired of the whole situation. The constant arguments and yelling between him and Jessica became exhausting, and it seemed like they could never get on the same page. The screaming matches became so frequent that they started causing problems with the neighbors, who couldn't handle the noise anymore. It wasn't just a private issue anymore, it was spilling out into the neighborhood, making it clear that their relationship was unhealthy and disruptive.
You're literally accusing me of things I haven't done.
You're sitting there attacking me for no reason, all because I want to cook and
How have I attacked you?
I actually wash it if I agree.
How have I attacked you? I said cook it the way you want. How is that me attacking you? Then can you please not say shit about me that's not true?
You totally say shit, but that's not true on camera all the fucking time.
Josh! So should I start hitting myself all over again?
No, because I won't solve anything.
So please, why are you doing this to me?
I'm not doing anything to you. I'm not doing a fucking thing to you, Jessica. You are overreacting.
I said you could do whatever you want.
And I appreciate that. I don't know why you're getting mad. I really do.
Because you keep talking shit about me and making
I'm not
stuff
talking shit about you. I'm not talking shit about you. Could you please
You
stop?
made stuff about. I'm gonna start recording because you made stuff about me twice, and Josh, you literally made stuff about me twice. I don't care.
No, I haven't.
I don't give a how you carry you. Cook your shit.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you offering me the big grace. I'll use it. Could you please stop?
I haven't done anything.
You're yelling at me because
I haven't yelled at you. You're judging me, telling me how to tell you. I don't care how.
I was just saying.
I don't.
Obviously, you care. Otherwise,
I don't.
you wouldn't.
No, stop.
Throwing toilet paper and the
God damn it! Stop it.
Would you stop yelling at me, please?
I'm not yelling. You've been judging me for the past.
No, the fuck I have not.
You've been judging me for the fucking past hour. Say I'm doing this and stop it.
If it were just the usual argument, things might have been better, but it quickly escalated when Jessica began to hurt herself. The argument started over something as small as which pan to use for cooking, but it spiraled out of control. Jessica went live to explain the situation, and Josh confronted her for criticizing him in front of their audience. Instead of addressing the issue, Jessica resorted to blackmail, hitting herself and then blaming Josh for making her do it. She turned everything around, claiming that it was Josh's fault for pushing her to hurt herself. Jessica shifted the blame entirely onto Josh. She claimed that he was the one who always talked badly about her on live videos, painting herself as the victim and him as the villain. Even with all these and the eventual eviction from his apartment, Josh continued his relationship with Jessica and went to stay with his father until he found another place. After about a month, his dad got him a trailer. Josh's situation deteriorated when he moved into his trailer, and he ended up breaking up with Jessica while she was away at her parents' place. She was devastated and went to confront him in his trailer.
Are you live right now?
Yes.
Oh my fucking God, you said you weren't gonna go live.
Joshy, I've been live. I told you I was live.
Oh my God, you said you weren't gonna go live while you were here, and you're doing it.
I know, but I told you I went live early. Joshy, I have not shown you once. It's only been my ugly goddamn fucking mug. I know I'm ugly. I will own it all day long.
It's not even about that.
I know, but the fucking Chris. Fuck him. I'm not doing this for anybody but myself.
You literally said I wasn't gonna go live because I don't want me and Josh getting harassed. And then
I know,
what do you do? You're going live.
Josh, I told you this like over an hour ago, Josh. Chris ruined this. Don't blame this on me.
I'm not blaming it on anyone, Jessica.
Chris ruined this.
You literally sat there and said, I don't want people to know I'm here, so what do? You go live.
But Chris ruined this. He fucking told everyone I was here.
Yeah, but you didn't have to reaffirm him.
I'm not reaffirming. Fuck him. Josh, please. I told you this. I don't even. Joshy, this is why we're so good together, because I will start a thought, but I cannot find the words, and you can literally a few words. You're like bing, bing, bong, Josh. Just because I'm all about communication doesn't mean I know every right word to say.
You literally said, I'm not gonna go live because of Jessica Messica, and then when
it's not because of her. It's not all of these people.
Instead of trying to handle the situation privately, Jessica chose to go live and share everything with their viewers. Even though they were broken up, Josh didn't want anyone to know that she was coming around. However, Chris had already spilled the beans and let their fans know, which annoyed Josh. What made things worse was that Jessica confirmed the news to everyone by going live, essentially making it public. Josh didn't want to discuss anything with her while she was live, but Jessica refused to end the stream so they could talk privately. This left Josh frustrated, but the situation only became worse after a while.
But why can I listen to everything you say, but you can't listen to what I have to say? And you
won't listen to what I say, so why should I listen to what you have to say? Respect is a two-way street.
Josh, I do listen to you. I told you about fucking I don't know movies, so if I have to ask you a question, you literally just bashed my head against the wall and trying to kill me.
If I was trying, I would have succeeded.
You said that the fucking first time in March. What have I done to you that your trolls haven't done that you want to...
I'd ask you the same question, Jessica. What have I done that your trolls haven't already done to you?
I haven't ever splashed alcohol on you. I was sitting...
I was trying to be cute with you, and you want to make it about this humongous bullshit nothing fight.
What do you mean?
You gotta make a fight about nothing, and I'm sick of it.
How is it a fight about nothing when I ask you when I'm sitting here, I'm wearing brand new clean pants, a brand new shirt. Please don't spill anything on me. I'm gonna wear this. How am I supposed to assume what you're thinking? What? So you're gonna shoot me?
No, I'd rather shoot myself.
This was exactly why Josh's dad decided to get him a trailer. He knew that if Josh got another apartment, the constant noise, drama, and chaos would continue, and he'd end up getting evicted again. The situation with Jessica had already become so toxic that Josh's dad probably saw the trailer as a way to remove him from the environment that had caused so many problems. At least in the trailer, Josh would have some space to try to find peace away from the chaos of a typical apartment. To make matters worse, Jessica threw serious claims of abuse at Josh. Josh went on to threaten to use a gun on himself. Eventually, Jessica realized that the relationship was beyond saving, so she decided to go back to her parents. However, the resentment she felt toward Josh didn't go away. In the final act of revenge, she released some of his private graphic videos online.
Boyle is revenge me. Oh, I will be pressing charges on Jessica Boyle because I'm not having this crap. She probably got drunk and pissed off and mad because she's no longer with me and decided to be all vengeful and spiteful, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Whether Josh went on to press charges against Jessica remained unclear. However, it was obvious that Jessica wasn't backing down. She continued to go after him in her videos, saying a lot of crazy and hurtful things about him. It seemed like she was determined to continue the drama no matter what.
When I get a gun, and I'm gonna imagine shooting JFS in the head. That'll be my get-off dream. Somebody's gotta put him in his place for what his daddy's too weak. His daddy's too weak of a fucking cuck ass.
Jessica made some very serious and troubling claims, stating that if she ever got another chance to be with Josh and had a gun with her, she wouldn't hesitate to use it on him. This is a dangerous and threatening statement that should not be taken lightly. If Josh were to take legal action, he would have a strong case. At the very least, he could seek a restraining order to ensure that Jessica couldn't come back uninvited. This is the story of Josh and how he went from a young, irresponsible man to an adult, and not changing much in his ways in over a decade.